I found a text on my husband's phone at our daughter's wedding. I was adjusting my daughter's veil in the bridal suite when I saw it. My husband Robert's phone lit up on the table next to me. A text message from someone named M with a heart emoji next to the name. Can't wait to see you tonight, baby. Room 447. Don't be late. My hands froze on the delicate lace. My heart stopped. Room 447. We were at a hotel. The wedding venue was at the Grand Sterling Hotel. This hotel. Robert had a room here, a room I didn't know about. My daughter Emma was sitting in front of the mirror, getting her makeup done, laughing with her bridesmaids, glowing, beautiful, about to walk down the aisle, to marry the love of her life. And I had just discovered that her father was cheating on me. On her wedding day, I picked up the phone with shaking hands. No password. He never used a password because he said he had nothing to hide. What a joke that was. I opened his messages, scrolled up, and what I saw made me feel sick. Months of messages. Months. Photos. Videos. Things I can't even describe. All with someone named Michelle, M. The heart emoji girl. My vision blurred. I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like someone had punched me in the stomach and I couldn't get air back into my lungs. 28 years. I had been married to Robert for 28 years. We met in college, got married right after graduation, had Emma 2 years later, built a life together, a home, a family, or so I thought. Emma's voice cut through my shock. Mom, you okay? You look pale. I looked up. She was staring at me in the mirror, concern on her face. Her makeup artist had stopped mid-application. I'm fine, sweetie. Just a little emotional. You look so beautiful. I forced a smile, put the phone down. Went back to adjusting her veil with hands that wouldn't stop shaking. This was Emma's day, her special day. The day she had been planning for over a year. I couldn't ruin it, couldn't tell her what I had just discovered. Couldn't let my pain destroy her happiness, so I swallowed it down, buried it deep, and I smiled. The ceremony was in an hour. I had an hour to pull myself together, to figure out what to do, to decide if I was going to confront Robert now or wait until after the wedding. I decided to wait. This was about Emma, not about me, not about Robert's betrayal, about our daughter getting married to a wonderful man who actually loved her. But I wasn't going to let this go. No way. Robert thought he could cheat on me and get away with it. He had another thing coming. The makeup artist finished with Emma. The bridesmaids helped her into her dress. A stunning white gown with a long train and intricate beading. She looked like a princess. Mom, can you help me with the buttons? Of course, baby. I buttoned up the back of her dress. Each tiny button felt like it took forever. My fingers were clumsy. My mind was racing. Room 447. Michelle. Tonight, he was planning to see her tonight. After the wedding. After walking his daughter down the aisle. After the reception. He was going to sneak away and be with another woman. The audacity. The absolute audacity of this man. There was a knock on the door. One of the wedding coordinators poked her head in. Ladies, we're ready for you. It's time. Emma took a deep breath. Squeezed my hand. I'm so nervous, Mom. Don't be. You're going to be perfect. And Jake is going to cry the second he sees you. She laughed. You think so? I know so. That man loves you more than anything in the world. Unlike your father, I didn't say. Unlike the man who promised to love me forever and is apparently screwing someone named Michelle. We walked downstairs to the ceremony space. A beautiful outdoor garden with white chairs set up in rows, flowers everywhere, string lights hanging from the trees. It was like something out of a magazine. I saw Robert standing near the entrance, waiting to walk Emma down the aisle. He was wearing his tuxedo, looking handsome, smiling. That smile made me want to scream. He saw us approaching and his face lit up. Emma, sweetheart, you look absolutely gorgeous. He hugged her, kissed her cheek. played the role of proud father perfectly. Then he looked at me. "Carol, you look beautiful too." I stared at him. At this man I thought I knew. This man who had shared my bed for nearly 3 decades. This man who was lying to my face. "Thank you," I said. My voice was ice. He looked confused for a second, like he could sense something was wrong, but couldn't figure out what. Good. Let him wonder. The music started. The bridesmaids began their walk down the aisle. Then it was time. Time for Robert to walk our daughter to her future while planning to cheat on me later that night. I watched from my seat in the front row. Watched Emma walk toward Jake with the biggest smile on her face. Watched Jake start crying just like I predicted. Watched them exchange vows and rings and promises. And the whole time, all I could think about was room 447. The ceremony ended. Everyone cheered. Emma and Jake kissed. They walked back down the aisle as husband and wife. I clapped. I smiled. I played my part. But inside, I was planning. The reception was in the hotel ballroom. Huge space with crystal chandeliers and round tables covered in white linens. A dance floor in the center, a DJ booth in the corner. Everything was perfect. I sat at the head table between Robert and Emma's new mother-in-law, Patricia. Robert kept trying to hold my hand, touch my arm, act like the loving husband. I pulled away every time, made excuses. Too hot, need to fix my hair, have to check on something. He was getting annoyed. I could see it in his face. Tough. He could be as annoyed as he wanted. During dinner, I barely ate. Just pushed food around my plate. My stomach was in knots. I kept thinking about those messages, those photos, the casual way he had planned to see her. Tonight, like it was nothing, like I was nothing. Patricia leaned over. "Carol, are you feeling all right? You've barely touched your food." "I'm fine. Just emotional. You know how it is, your baby getting married." She nodded sympathetically. "I know exactly what you mean. I cried through Jake's sister's entire wedding." I smiled, excused myself to go to the bathroom. But I didn't go to the bathroom. I went to the front desk. The woman behind the counter looked up with a professional smile. "How can I help you?" "I need to know something. My husband, Robert Thompson, checked into a room here today. Can you tell me what room number?" "I'm sorry, ma'am. I can't give out that information. Privacy policy." "I understand, but I'm his wife, and I need to know." She looked uncomfortable. "Ma'am, I really can't." I pulled out my phone, showed her my wedding photo. The one where Robert and I are cutting our cake, young and happy and in love. "Please, it's important." She hesitated, looked around, then typed something into her computer. "Room 447, she whispered. "But I didn't tell you that." "Thank you." I went back to the reception, sat down, smiled, pretended everything was fine. The speeches started. Emma's maid of honor made everyone laugh with stories from college. Jake's best man talked about how Jake had known Emma was the one from their first date. Then it was Robert's turn, the father of the bride's speech. He stood up, tapped his glass. Everyone got quiet. "I want to start by saying how beautiful my daughter looks today. Emma, you've always been my little girl, and now you're someone's wife. Jake, you're a lucky man. Take care of her, love her, make her happy. That's all a father can ask for." People were crying. Emma was crying. Even I felt tears in my eyes. But they weren't happy tears. They were angry tears, sad tears, betrayed tears. Because this man standing up there, acting like he knew anything about love and commitment, was planning to cheat on me in Maine. A few hours. And to my wife, Carol, thank you for being the most amazing mother to Emma. For all the sacrifices you've made. For being my partner through everything. I love you. He raised his glass. Everyone clinked their glasses, cheered. I wanted to throw my drink in his face. Instead, I smiled, nodded, played along. The first dance started. Emma and Jake swaying to some romantic song. Then Robert and I were supposed to join them for the parent dance. Robert held out his hand. "May I have this dance?" I took it. Let him lead me to the dance floor. Put my hand on his shoulder. Let him put his hand on my waist. We danced. And while we danced, I whispered in his ear, "I know." He pulled back slightly. "Know what?" "About Michelle. About room 447. About everything." His face went white. Completely white, like all the blood had drained out. "Carol, don't. Not here. Not now. This is Emma's day. We need to talk. We will. After the reception. But right now, you're going to smile and dance and act like nothing is wrong. Because if you ruin this day for our daughter, I will make your life a living nightmare. Understand?" He nodded, speechless. We finished the dance in silence. When the song ended, we walked off the floor in different directions. I saw him pull out his phone, start texting frantically, probably telling Michelle that the plans had changed, that he couldn't meet her tonight. Good. Let her be disappointed. Let her wonder what happened. Let her feel a tiny fraction of what I was feeling. The rest of the reception was a blur. Cake cutting, bouquet toss, more dancing, more drinking, more pretending. Emma came up to me around 10 o'clock. Her face was flushed from dancing. Happy. "Mom, are you having fun? You seem quiet." "I'm having a wonderful time, sweetie. This has been the most beautiful wedding." "It really has, hasn't it? Everything turned out perfect." "Perfect. Yes. Except for the part where I discovered your father is a cheating liar. I'm so happy, Mom. So incredibly happy. I know, baby. You deserve all the happiness in the world." She hugged me tight. "Thank you. For everything. I love you so much." "I love you too, Emma. More than you could ever know." She went back to Jake. Back to celebrating. Back to her perfect day. And I started planning my next move. Around midnight, the reception started winding down. The older guests were leaving. Only the younger crowd remained. Dancing, drinking, having a great time. I found Robert sitting at the bar, alone, drinking what looked like whiskey. I sat down next to him. "We need to talk. Now. Carol, please. Can we do this tomorrow? I'm exhausted." "No, we're doing this now. Get your things. Meet me in the lobby in 5 minutes. But Emma is fine. She's with her husband. She doesn't need us anymore tonight." I stood up, walked away. Didn't give him a chance to argue. 5 minutes later, we were both in the lobby. Robert looked miserable, scared, like a child who got caught stealing cookies. Good. He should be scared. "Let's go to our room," he said. "We don't have a room. You have room 447, remember? The one you booked to screw your girlfriend." "Carol, please. Lower your voice." "Why? Embarrassed? Don't want people to hear what you've done?" He grabbed my arm, tried to steer me toward the elevators. I yanked it away. "Don't touch me. We need to talk privately." "Fine, let's go." We took the elevator up in silence, got off on the 4th floor, walked down the hall to room 447. Robert pulled out a key card, opened the door. The room was nice. King bed, city view, mini bar. The kind of room you book for a romantic night away. Except he hadn't booked it for me. He had booked it for Michelle. I walked to the window, looked out at the city lights, took a deep breath. "How long? What? How long have you been cheating on me?" He was quiet for a long time. Then he said, 6 months. 6 months. Half a year. While I was planning our daughter's wedding. While I was cooking his dinners and doing his laundry and sleeping next to him every night, he was with someone else. Who is she? No one. She doesn't matter. I turned around, looked at him. She matters enough for you to book a hotel room, to sneak around, to lie to me for 6 months. So tell me, who is she? He sat down on the bed, put his head in his hands. Her name is Michelle. She works at my office, in accounting. How old is she? He didn't answer. Robert, how old? 29. I felt like I had been slapped. 29. She was younger than our daughter. Our daughter is 30 years old. You're sleeping with someone younger than your own child. Carol. That's disgusting. You're disgusting. It just happened. I didn't plan it. Things like this don't just happen. You made choices. You chose to start something with her. You chose to continue it. You chose to lie to me every single day for 6 months. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to weigh. Pick up milk at the store. This is betrayal. This is you destroying our marriage, our family, everything we built together. He started crying, actual tears running down his face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. You were thinking with your dick. That's what you were thinking. I'd never spoken to him like that before. In 28 years of marriage, I had never used that kind of language. But I was done being polite, done being the nice wife. Are you in love with her? No. God, no. It was just physical. Just physical. Like that makes it better. I walked toward the door. I'm leaving. I'm going home. Don't follow me. Carol, wait, please. We need to figure this out. Figure what out? Whether I'm going to forgive you? Whether we're going to work on our marriage? Save me the trouble. The answer is no. You don't mean that. I absolutely mean that. You threw away 28 years for a 29-year-old from accounting. You planned to cheat on me on our daughter's wedding day. You looked me in the eye and told me you loved me while texting another woman. I am done. Please, don't do this. Not tonight. You did this. Not me. You. I opened the door. Started to walk out. Robert called after me. Where are you going? Home. To pack your things. By the time you get there tomorrow, all your stuff will be on the front lawn. Carol! I let the door slam behind me. I took a cab home. Our house. The house we had bought 25 years ago. The house where we raised Emma. Where we had thousands of memories. All those memories felt tainted now. Poisoned. Had he cheated before? Was Michelle the first? Or just the first one I found out about? I didn't sleep that night. I spent the hours packing Robert's clothes into garbage bags. His suits, his shirts, his shoes, everything. I dragged them all downstairs. Put them in the front yard. Then I changed the locks. Called a locksmith at 6 in the morning. Paid extra for emergency service. By 9 o'clock, Robert's stuff was outside and he couldn't get back in. My phone rang constantly. Robert calling, texting, begging me to talk to him. I ignored every single one. Around noon, Emma called. Mom, are you okay? Dad called me freaking out, saying you kicked him out of the house. I did. What happened? What's going on? Your father cheated on me. With a woman from his office. For 6 months, I found out yesterday at your wedding. She was quiet. Then she said, What? I found texts on his phone. He had booked a hotel room to meet her last night. After your reception. Mom, I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything, sweetie. This is between me and your father. I'm sorry, I'm telling you this right after your wedding. I wanted to wait, but he called you first. I can't believe this. I can't believe Dad would do this. Neither could I. Are you okay? Do you want me to come over? No. You just got married. You're supposed to be enjoying your first day as a wife. Don't worry about me. Mom, you're more important than Emma. I'm fine. I promise. Go be with Jake. Be happy. I'll be okay. We talked for a few more minutes. She was crying, angry at her father, offering to come stay with me. I convinced her to stay with Jake, to enjoy being newlyweds, to not let her father's mistakes ruin her happiness. After we hung up, I sat in my quiet house, my empty house, and I cried. Really cried for the first time since I saw that text message. I cried for my marriage, for the life I thought I had, for the future I thought we would have. Growing old together, becoming grandparents together, traveling together in retirement. All gone. All destroyed because Robert couldn't keep it in his pants. Over the next few days, Robert kept trying to contact me. He sent flowers, long emails, showed up at the house and pounded on the door. I didn't respond to any of it, got a lawyer instead, filed for divorce, asked for half of everything. The house, the savings, his pension, all of it. He wanted to fight it, said we should try counseling first, try to work things out. I said no. There was nothing to work out. He made his choice. Now he had to live with the consequences. Emma came to visit 3 days after her wedding. She looked tired, stressed. We sat in the living room. The same living room where Robert and I had watched movies together, where we had celebrated Christmas mornings, where we had lived our life. Mom, I'm so angry at Dad. I can't even look at him right now. You don't have to choose sides, Emma. He's still your father. He betrayed you on my wedding day. How am I supposed to forgive that? You'll forgive him eventually, for your own peace, not for his. She shook her head. I don't think I can. Yes, you can, because you're a better person than he is. And because holding on to anger only hurts you. Aren't you angry? I'm furious. But I'm not going to let that anger consume me. I'm going to move forward. Build a new life. One that doesn't include your father. What are you going to do? I don't know yet, but I'll figure it out. She stayed for hours. We talked, we cried. We made plans for her to help me redecorate, to make the house mine instead of ours. After she left, I sat on the couch, and I realized something. I wasn't just angry at Robert. I was angry at myself. For not seeing the signs, for being naive, for trusting him completely when maybe I should have been more careful. But then I thought, no, that's not fair. I shouldn't have to live my life suspicious of my husband, checking his phone, questioning his every move. The problem wasn't that I trusted him. The problem was that he wasn't trustworthy. That distinction was important because it meant this wasn't my fault. I hadn't failed. He had. A week after Emma's wedding, Robert's mother called me. Margaret, a woman I had known for almost 30 years, who I had spent countless holidays with, who I called Mom. Carol, dear, I heard, to what happened. I'm so sorry. Thank you, Margaret. I want you to know that I'm furious with Robert. What he did is unforgivable. You've been a wonderful wife to him, a wonderful mother to Emma, and he threw it all away. I appreciate that. I also want you to know that you'll always be family to me. Divorce papers don't change that. You'll always be Emma's mother. My granddaughter's grandmother someday. You're stuck with me. I started crying. That means more than you know. I mean it. And if you need anything at all, you call me. Understand? I will. After we hung up, I felt a little bit better. Not much, but a little. Over the next few weeks, the divorce proceedings moved forward. Robert tried everything to stop it, begged me to reconsider, promised he had ended things with Michelle, swore it would never happen again. I didn't care. The trust was gone, shattered, and you can't rebuild a marriage without trust. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Andrea, was fantastic. She made sure I got everything I was entitled to. The house, half his retirement, spousal support. Robert was angry about the spousal support. Said it wasn't fair that he had to pay me when I could work. Andrea shut that down fast. You stayed home for 10 years to raise Emma while he built his career. You sacrificed your earning potential for his. He owes you this. She was right. I had put Robert's career first, moved for his jobs, supported his ambitions, And now he was going to pay for that, literally. 3 months after Emma's wedding, the divorce was final. I was no longer Mrs. Robert Thompson. I was just Carol. Carol starting over at 53 years old. It was terrifying and liberating at the same time. Emma threw me a divorce party. Said if people could celebrate weddings, we could celebrate me getting rid of a cheater. She invited all my friends. We drank wine, ate cake, burned old photos of Robert. It was therapeutic. One of my friends, Susan, pulled me aside. "Carol, I have to tell you something. I saw Robert with a young woman about a year ago at a restaurant across town. They looked cozy. I wasn't sure if I should say something. I didn't want to cause trouble if it was innocent. A year ago, so he had been lying longer than 6 months. Much longer. Thank you for telling me. I'm sorry I didn't say something sooner. It's okay. I know now. That's what matters." But later that night, after everyone had gone home and I was alone with the remnants of the party, Susan's confession hit me harder than I expected. A year, maybe longer. How much of our marriage had been a lie? I poured myself another glass of wine and sat in the dark living room. Started going through memories systematically. Looking for signs I'd missed. Clues I should have picked up on. The late nights at the office that had started about 18 months ago. Robert saying his company was going through a merger and he needed to put in extra hours. I'd believed him, made him. Dinners he could reheat. Told him I understood. The new clothes he'd bought, saying he needed to update his wardrobe for work. More stylish shirts, better fitting pants, a new cologne. I'd thought it was sweet, a midlife crisis in the healthiest way possible. The gym membership he'd gotten, said he wanted to get in shape. I'd encouraged him. Thought it was great that he was taking care of his health. All of it. Every single thing. It had all been for her. For Michelle. To look good for her. To have excuses to see her. To build a secret life I knew nothing about. I felt like an idiot. A blind, trusting idiot. But then I thought about what my therapist would say. Because yes, I'd started seeing a therapist. Dr. Ellen Martinez. She specialized in betrayal trauma, and she told me something important in our first session. The fact that you trusted your husband doesn't make you stupid. It makes you a good partner. He's the one who broke that trust. That's on him, not you. I repeated those words to myself now. In the dark, alone. It's on him, not me. The next morning, I woke up with a headache from the wine and a new determination. I was done looking backward. Done analyzing every moment of my marriage for signs I'd missed. Done making myself feel stupid for trusting someone I'd promised to trust. I was going to look forward instead. I started by making a list. Things I'd always wanted to do, but hadn't, because Robert wasn't interested. Or because I'd been too busy being a wife and mother. Or because I'd forgotten I was allowed to want things just for myself. The list was longer than I expected. Learn to paint, join a book club, volunteer at the animal shelter, take a cooking class. Travel to Italy, get a dog, go to concerts, learn to play piano, take up hiking, visit art museums, see the ocean more often. Simple things, big things, thanks. All the things that made up a life lived for myself, instead of around someone else. I started with the animal shelter. Called that afternoon and signed up to volunteer. They needed people to walk dogs and socialize with cats. Perfect. My first shift was that Saturday. I showed up nervous, wearing old jeans and sneakers. Ready to scoop poop and get covered in dog hair. The coordinator, a young woman named Brianna, showed me around. Introduced me to the dogs. There were so many. Big dogs, small dogs, old dogs, puppies, all of them waiting for homes. "This is Charlie," Brianna said, stopping in front of a kennel with a medium-sized mutt. Brown and white, with floppy ears and sad eyes. "He's been here for 6 months. He's 8 years old. People always want the puppies. Can I walk him?" "Of course. That's why you're here." She opened the kennel. Charlie came out slowly, cautiously, like he didn't quite believe something good was happening. I clipped on his leash and we headed outside. Charlie walked beside me quietly, not pulling, not jumping, just walking. Every few minutes he'd look up at me like it was checking to make sure I was still there. My heart broke a little. We walked for 20 minutes. Around the shelter's property, through the paths in the woods behind the building. Charlie sniffed everything, marked his territory, started to relax. When we got back, I didn't want to put him back in his kennel. Wanted to take him home. But I wasn't ready for that yet. Wasn't sure I could handle the responsibility of a pet on top of everything else. But I'll be back, I told him. I'll walk you again next week. He licked my hand. Like he understood. I volunteered every Saturday after that. Walked Charlie every time. Started walking other dogs too. Made friends with the cats. Found that for those few hours each week, I didn't think about Robert or Michelle or the divorce or any of it. I just thought about the animals. About giving them some joy in their temporary lives. About being useful. Needed. It was healing in a way I hadn't expected. The book club came next. My neighbor. Jane had been inviting me for years. I'd always said no. Too busy. Maybe next time. The truth was, Robert had thought book clubs were silly, a waste of time, so I'd never joined. But Robert didn't get a vote anymore. I showed up at Jane's house on a Tuesday evening, nervous, carrying the book we were supposed to discuss. A novel about a woman starting over after her husband's death. The irony wasn't lost on me. There were 8 women there, all around my age. Some I knew from the neighborhood. Some I'd never met. They welcomed me with wine and cheese and genuine warmth. We talked about the book for an hour. Then we talked about our lives, our kids, our jobs, our dreams. Some of them were married, some divorced, some widowed. All of them understood that life was complicated. Jane's best friend Linda was recently divorced too. Her husband had left her for his secretary after 25 years of marriage, a cliché that had destroyed her world. "How are you doing?" she asked me, quietly, while the others were debating the book's ending. Jane told me about Robert. "I'm okay. Some days better than others. I get that. It's been 2 years for me, and I still have days where I want to key his car." I laughed. "I've thought about that too. Don't do it. It's not worth the legal trouble. But slashing his tires is technically just property damage." I laughed harder. Good to know. "But seriously, it gets easier. Not easy, but easier. You'll have good days and bad days. But eventually you'll have more good days than bad. And then one day you'll realize you haven't thought about him in weeks. And that's when you know you're free." I hope so. You will be. Trust me. Over the next few months, I threw myself into my new life. Painting classes on Thursday evenings, book club on Tuesdays, shelter volunteering on Saturdays, lunch with Emma every Sunday. I joined a gym, not to look good for anyone, but because I wanted to feel strong. I hired a personal trainer, a woman, named Keisha, who kicked my ass and didn't accept excuses. "You're stronger than you think," she'd say when I wanted to quit. "Push through. You've got this." And I did. I got stronger. Literally and metaphorically. I started eating better, not to lose weight, but because I deserved to feel good, to nourish my body instead of punishing it with convenience food and wine. The weight came off anyway. 15 pounds in 3 months. People started commenting, asking if I was doing something different, if I was seeing someone. No, I'd say, just taking care of myself. And I was. For the first time in decades, I was putting myself first, making choices that were good for me, building a life that made me happy. Emma noticed, commented on it every time we had lunch. "Mom, you look amazing. Seriously, you're glowing. I feel good, really good. I'm so proud of you. The way you've handled everything. The way you haven't let Dad's choices destroy you. You're my hero. Oh, sweetie, I'm just doing what I have to do. No, you're doing more than that. You're thriving, and it's inspiring. About 4 months after the divorce, Emma called me with news. Mom, I'm pregnant, I screamed. Actually screamed with joy. Oh my God, Emma, that's wonderful. We just found out yesterday. I'm 8 weeks. We wanted to wait to tell people, but I had to tell you. I'm so happy for you. You're going to be an amazing mother. I learned from the best. We talked for an hour about due dates and nursery colors and baby names, about her fears and excitement, about how she couldn't wait for me to meet my grandchild. After we hung up, I sat in my quiet house and cried. Happy tears this time. Pure joy. Because Emma was going to be a mother, and I was going to be a grandmother. And life was moving forward in the most beautiful way. Robert called the next day. Emma must have told him, Carol, did you hear? We're going to be grandparents. Yes, Emma told me. Isn't it exciting? Very. Silence. Then he said, I miss you. I felt nothing. No anger. No sadness. No longing. Just nothing. I have to go, Robert. Goodbye. I hung up before he could respond. That night, I realized something. I didn't miss him. Not even a little bit. I didn't miss his presence in my house. His voice, his touch, any of it. I missed the idea of him. The husband I thought I had, the partner I thought I'd have forever. But the real Robert? The man who cheated and lied and betrayed me? I didn't miss him at all. That realization was freeing. Around month 5, I decided to try something new. Dating. Not seriously. Just casually. Putting myself out there to see what happened. My friends had been encouraging me. Especially Linda from book club. She'd been dating for a year and had stories that made us all laugh and cringe and everything in between. You have to get back out there, she'd say. Even if it's terrible, even if you have awful dates with awful men, it's good practice. It reminds you that you're still alive, still desirable, still worth someone's time. So I downloaded a dating app, created a profile, chose photos where I actually looked like myself, wrote something honest in my bio, recently divorced, starting over at 53, love books, animals, and painting, looking for friendship first. Maybe more if the right person comes along. I got messages immediately, more than I expected. Some were nice, some were creepy, some were clearly just looking for one thing. I went on a few dates, coffee with a divorced accountant who talked about his ex-wife the entire time, dinner with a widower who was still deeply in love with his dead wife, drinks with a guy who lied about his age by 10 years and looked nothing like his photos. It was exhausting and a little depressing. Was this what dating was like now? But then I met David. We matched on the app. His profile was simple, honest. He was 56, a widower. His wife had died of cancer 5 years earlier. He had 2 grown sons. Loved hiking and photography. Volunteered at the same animal shelter I did, though we'd somehow never crossed paths. His first message was thoughtful. Asked about a book I'd mentioned in my profile. No pickup lines, no weird comments, just genuine interest. We messaged for 2 weeks before he asked to meet for coffee. I said yes. The coffee shop was neutral territory, busy enough that I felt safe but quiet enough to talk. I got there first, ordered a latte, sat at a table by the window, watched people walk by. Then he arrived. And he looked exactly like his photos. Same kind eyes, same gentle smile. He was wearing jeans and a sweater. Nothing fancy, just himself. Carol? That's me. David? He nodded. Smiled, went to order his coffee, came back and sat down across from me. Thanks for meeting me. I know first dates can be awkward. I appreciate the acknowledgement. Yes, they can be. He laughed. So, let's make a deal. If either of us wants to leave after 20 minutes, no hard feelings. We can blame it on a fake emergency. Text from a friend. Whatever we need. I like that. The honesty. The escape hatch. Deal. We talked for 2 hours. Not 20 minutes. 2 hours. The coffee shop closed, and we moved to a park bench. Kept talking as the sun set. He told me about his wife, Sarah, how they'd met in grad school, how she'd fought cancer for 3 years before it finally won, how he'd been lost without her, how he'd spent the first 2 years after her death just going through the motions. I'm not looking to replace her, he said. No one could, but I'm ready to move forward, to find companionship again, maybe more if it feels right. I told him about Robert, about finding the texts at Emma's wedding, about the divorce, about building a new life. Good for you, he said. For leaving. For not accepting less than you deserved. A lot of people think I should have tried to work it out. Go to counseling. Save the marriage. Those people didn't have to live with the betrayal. You did. Only you get to decide what's forgivable. Exactly. We made plans to see each other again. Dinner the following week. A real date. I drove home that night feeling something I hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Excitement. The possibility that maybe, just maybe, there was someone out there who could be a real partner. The dinner date was even better. We went to a small Italian restaurant, shared a bottle of wine, talked about everything and nothing. Our kids, our jobs, our dreams. What we wanted from life at this stage. I want peace, David said. After watching Sarah suffer, after all the hospitals and treatments and fear, I just want peace. Simple days. Good conversations. Someone to share meals with. Walks in nature. Nothing dramatic. Just peace. I want that too. I've had enough drama to last a lifetime. He reached across the table, took my hand. It felt natural. Right. I think we might want the same things, he said. I think so too. We started seeing each other regularly. Once a week at first, then twice, then 3 times, always taking it slow. No rush, no pressure. Just 2 people who'd been through hard things learning to trust again. He met Emma about 2 months in. I was nervous, wanted her approval, needed her to know I wasn't replacing her father. Just moving forward. They met at my house for Sunday lunch. Emma was 5 months pregnant by then, starting to show. Glowing with that pregnancy radiance everyone talks about. David was perfect. Asked her about the baby, about her job, about Jake. Made her laugh with stories about his own sons when they were little. Treated her with the respect and warmth she deserved. After he left, Emma hugged me tight. Mom, I really like him. He's good for you. I can see it in your face. You're happy. I am. Really happy. Good. You deserve it. After everything Dad put you through, you deserve someone who actually values you. 3 months into our relationship, David asked me to meet his sons. We all went hiking together, a moderate trail, beautiful views, good conversation. His sons were wonderful, both in their late 20s, both kind and funny, and clearly loved their father. They treated me with warmth, asked about Emma, talked about their mother without making it awkward. The older son, Michael, pulled me aside at one point. I just want to say thank you for making my dad smile again. We haven't seen him this happy in years. Since before Mom got sick. It's good to have him back. That means a lot. He's a good man, the best. He'll treat you right, I know. And he did. David treated me better than I'd ever been treated. He called when he said he would. Showed up on time. Listened when I talked. Remembered little things I mentioned. Brought me flowers for no reason. Cooked me dinner. Held my hand in public. All the things that should be basic in a relationship, but felt revolutionary after Robert. 6 months in, Emma, had her baby, a beautiful little girl named Sophie. I was in the delivery room, watched my daughter become a mother, held my granddaughter minutes after she was born. Sophie was perfect. 10 tiny fingers, 10 tiny toes, a head full of dark hair. Emma's nose, Jake's chin. Robert was there too. At the hospital, we were cordial, polite, for Emma's sake. He held Sophie, cried happy tears, played the proud grandfather. But there was nothing between us anymore. No connection, no history that mattered. Just two people who used to be married and were now linked only through our daughter and granddaughter. Michelle was there too, lurking in the waiting room. Young and beautiful and clearly uncomfortable with the family dynamics. She was visibly pregnant herself, due in a few months with Robert's child. I felt nothing when I saw her. No jealousy, no anger. Just pity, because she'd won the prize. And the prize was Robert, a man who'd cheat on his wife, who'd betray his family, who'd throw away nearly 30 years for someone younger. Good luck with that. David came by the hospital later that evening, brought flowers for Emma, a stuffed animal for Sophie. He stood back, let the family have their moment. But he was there, supporting me, being present without demanding attention. Emma noticed, smiled at me over Sophie's head. Mouthed, "I love him." I mouthed back, "Me too." Because I did. I loved David, not the desperate, all-consuming love of youth, but the steady, comfortable love of people who'd lived through hard things and knew what mattered. We moved in together a year after we met. Not because we had to, but because we wanted to. Because waking up next to each other felt right. Because cooking dinner together and walking the dog we'd adopted together and building a life together made sense. Charlie, the sad-eyed dog from the shelter. I'd adopted him 6 months earlier. David had fallen in love with him too. Now Charlie had a home, a real home, with 2 people who adored him. Emma was thrilled when I told her David and I were moving in together. "Mom, that's amazing. I'm so happy for you. It feels fast, maybe, but it also feels right. When you know, you know." That's what Jake always says. When you know, you know. And I knew. David was my person, my partner, my second chance. Robert, from what I heard through Emma, wasn't doing well. His marriage to Michelle was falling apart. She'd had their baby, a boy, but she was miserable, felt trapped. Hadn't realized that being married to a man 27 years older with an adult daughter and a grandchild would be complicated. They fought constantly. About money, about his time with Emma and Sophie, about his ex-wife, me. Apparently Michelle was jealous of me, of the history Robert and I had, of the relationship I still had with Margaret and Emma. She'd wanted Robert to cut ties with Emma after she refused to come to their wedding, to make Emma choose him or me. Emma had chosen me without hesitation. And Robert, for all his faults, loved his daughter too much to enforce that ultimatum. So his new marriage was a disaster. His relationship with Emma was strained. His relationship with Sophie was almost non-existent because Emma didn't want her daughter around Michelle. He'd gotten exactly what he wanted, and it had cost him everything that mattered. Meanwhile, I was thriving. My painting had gotten good enough that I'd sold a few pieces at a local art fair. My volunteer work at the shelter had expanded. I was now on their board of directors, helping make decisions about policies and fundraising. David and I traveled. Small trips at first, weekend getaways, then a week in Italy, 2 weeks in Greece. All the places I'd always wanted to see. We hiked, took photographs, ate amazing food, made love in beautiful hotel rooms, held hands while watching sunsets, lived the life I'd always dreamed of. Sophie turned 1, then 2, then 3. I was there for all of it, every birthday, every milestone, being the grandmother I'd always wanted to be. Emma got pregnant again. Another girl. They named her Rose. I held her in the hospital just like I'd held Sophie. watched my daughter navigate motherhood like a champion. David was there for all of it, too. Became Uncle David to Sophie and Rose, played with them, read them stories. Loved them like they were his own grandchildren. His sons got married, had kids of their own. We all got together for holidays. This blended family of people who'd lost and loved and started over. It wasn't perfect. There were hard days. Days when I still felt the sting of Robert's betrayal. Days when David missed Sarah so much he could barely speak. Days when the weight of everything we'd been through felt too heavy. But we got through them together. That was the difference. Together. 3 years after Emma's wedding, I ran into Robert at a coffee shop. I was with David. We were laughing about something. Happy. Robert was. Alone. He looked older. Tired. Worn down by life. "Carol," he said. "Hi." "Hello, Robert. This is David." They shook hands. Awkward, but polite. "I heard you and Michelle split up," I said. "Emma mentioned it." "Yeah. Few months ago. Didn't work out. I'm sorry to hear that." I'm not sure I believed myself, but it seemed like the right thing to say. "You look happy," he said. "Both of you." "We are. I'm glad, really. I know I don't have the right to be glad about anything to do with you anymore, but I am. You deserve happiness. Thank you." There was an awkward silence. Then Robert said, "I'm sorry. For everything. I know it's too late. I know sorry doesn't change anything, but I need to say it. I was an idiot. I threw away the best thing I ever had. And I'll regret it for the rest of my life." I looked at him. This man, who'd been my husband for 28 years, who'd fathered my child, who'd shared my life. And I felt nothing but pity. "I forgive you," I said. "Not for you, for me. I forgive you so I can move forward without carrying anger. That's more than I deserve. Probably. But I'm doing it anyway." David and I left shortly after. Walked to the car holding hands. "You okay?" he asked. "Yeah, I really am." That was big. Seeing him. Telling him you forgive him. It was. But I meant it. I do forgive him. Because holding on to anger was only hurting me. He's already living with the consequences of his choices. I don't need to add to that. You're a better person than I am. No. I'm just a person who's learned that forgiveness is for the forgiver, not the forgiven. David kissed my forehead. "I love you. I love you too." 5 years after Emma's wedding, David and I got married. Small ceremony, just family and close friends. On a beach at sunset, simple and perfect. Emma was my maid of honor. Sophie and Rose were flower girls. David's sons were his best men. Margaret was there. My friends from book club, people from the shelter. It was everything my first wedding hadn't been. Honest, authentic, real, no secrets. No lies, no betrayals waiting to be discovered. Just two people who knew exactly who they were marrying and chose each other anyway. Robert wasn't there. Emma had asked if I wanted to invite him. For civility's sake. I'd said no. This was my day, mine and David's. And Robert had no place in it. He sent a card. "Congratulations. Wishing you both happiness." Generic and meaningless, but probably the best he could do. I read it once and threw it away. At the reception, Emma gave a speech that made everyone cry. "My mom is the strongest person I know. She went through something that would have broken most people. But she didn't break. She bent. And then she straightened back up, stronger than before. More herself than ever. Watching her rebuild her life, watching her choose herself, watching her find real love with David. It's been the greatest lesson of my life. That it's never too late to start over. That you're never too old to choose happiness. That sometimes the worst thing that happens to you becomes the catalyst for the best thing. Mom, I love you. I'm so proud of you. And I'm so happy you found David. You two are perfect together." I hugged her tight, whispered thank you in her ear. looked out at all the people who'd supported me through the hardest time of my life, and I realized something. That day at Emma's first wedding, when I found those texts, when my world fell apart, I'd thought my life was over, that I was too old to start again, that I'd lost everything. But I hadn't lost everything. I'd lost a cheating husband, a dishonest partner, a man who didn't value me. And in losing him, I'd found myself, the real me, the strong me, the me who knew her worth and wouldn't accept less. I'd found real friends, a real community, real purpose, and eventually I'd found real love. The kind of love I'd thought only existed in movies. The kind where someone sees all of you, flaws and scars and messy history, and chooses you anyway. David pulled me onto the dance floor. Our first dance as husband and wife, a slow song, romantic and perfect. Happy? He whispered. So happy. Happier than I ever thought possible. Me too. Thank you for taking a chance on a broken widower with too much baggage. Thank you for taking a chance on a bitter divorcee with trust issues. We're quite a pair. We really are. We danced, and I looked around the room. At Emma dancing with Jake, at Sophie and Rose spinning in circles, at David's sons laughing with my friends, at Margaret smiling at me with tears in her eyes. This was my family now. Not the one I'd been born into or married into, but the one I'd chosen, the one I'd built from the ruins of my old life. And it was beautiful. After the wedding, David and I went on a honeymoon to Ireland. 2 weeks of green hills and old castles and cozy pubs. We hiked, we explored, we took hundreds of photographs. We made love in bed and breakfasts. We talked about our future. We're going to grow old together, David said one night, sitting by a fireplace, drinking Irish whiskey, watching rain fall outside. Yes, we are. I'm going to love you until my last breath. And probably beyond that, I'm going to love you the same way. He took my hand, kissed my ring, the simple gold band he'd placed there a week earlier. I never thought I'd get this again. Love, partnership, a future with someone. Neither did I. But here we are. Here we are. When we got back from the honeymoon, we settled into married life. It was different from my first marriage. Better, easier, built on honesty and communication and mutual respect. We talked about everything. Our feelings, our fears, our hopes. Nothing was off limits. Nothing was too hard to discuss. When I had a bad day, David held me. Let me cry. Didn't try to fix it. Just listened. When David missed Sarah, I gave him space. Let him grieve. Didn't take it personally. Understood that loving me didn't mean forgetting her. We went to therapy, couples therapy. Not because we were struggling, but because we wanted to do it right. Build a strong foundation. Learn from our past mistakes. Our therapist, Dr. Chen, said we were her favorite couple. That she wished all her clients were as committed to doing the work. You two understand something most people don't, she said. That love isn't just a feeling, it's a choice, a daily choice. And you're both choosing each other every single day. She was right, we were. Choosing each other, choosing us, choosing this life we were building together. 6 years after Emma's wedding, 7 years after Robert's betrayal, I woke up on a Saturday morning in bed next to David. Sunlight streaming through the windows. Charlie snoring at the foot of the bed. I looked at David. Still sleeping, peaceful, and I felt overwhelming gratitude. Gratitude for this man who loved me, who chose me, who built a life with me. Gratitude for the journey that brought me here. Even the painful parts, especially the painful parts, because they'd taught me who I was, what I deserved, what real love looked like. Gratitude for my daughter and grandchildren, for my friends, for my art and my volunteer work, and all the pieces of my life that brought me joy. Gratitude for the courage to leave when I needed to. To start over when it was terrifying. To believe I deserved better, even when it felt impossible. David's eyes opened. He smiled at me. Morning, beautiful. Good morning. What are you thinking about? You have that contemplative look. Just how grateful I am. For you, for this life, for everything. He pulled me close, kissed my forehead. I'm grateful too. Every single day. We lay there for a while, just holding each other. No words needed. Later, we got up, made breakfast together, coffee and eggs and toast. Fed Charlie, planned our day. A hike in the afternoon, dinner with Emma's family in the evening. Simple, perfect. This was my life now. This beautiful, peaceful, joy-filled life. Built from the ashes of the old one. Better in every way. Robert had taken my old life. But in doing so, he'd given me the chance to build a new one. A real one. An authentic one. And for that, I could almost thank him. Almost. But not quite. Because the life I had now wasn't because of him. It was despite him. It was because of me. My choices. My courage. My refusal to settle for less than I deserved. I'd chosen to leave. Chosen to heal. Chosen to start over. Chosen to love again. Those were my choices, my victories, my triumphs. Robert was just a footnote now. A chapter I'd closed. A mistake I'd learned from. He wasn't my story anymore. He was just part of it. A painful part that had led to something beautiful. And that was enough. More than enough. It was everything. As I sat at dinner that night with David and Emma and Jake and Sophie and Rose, watching my family laugh and talk and simply be together, I realized something profound. The worst day of my life, that day at Emma's wedding when I found those texts, had led directly to the best days of my life. These days, this life, this love. Would I have chosen that path? No, never. It was too painful, too devastating. But looking back, I wouldn't change it. Because changing it would mean losing this. Losing David. Losing the woman I'd become. Losing the life I'd built. And this life was worth every tear. Every sleepless night. Every moment of doubt and fear and pain. Because this life was mine. Truly mine. Built by me, for me, with someone who truly loved me. And that was the best revenge of all. Not hurting Robert, not making him suffer, but thriving. Being happy, living well. That was my victory, my triumph, my happily ever after. I was happy. David was happy. We were happy together. And Robert? Robert was just a memory, a lesson learned, a chapter closed. He was nothing. And I was everything I'd always wanted to be. Strong, independent, loved, free. And that was enough, more than enough. It was everything. Subscribe for more stories just like this.